Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Hi, and welcome to the show. This is episode number 75 of the Grow Your Biz Show. I'm Paul Madsen, your host, and I'm happy to have you on board today. Hey, we just got a brand new sponsor to the program, ActionCOACHOmaha.com. If your business needs clarification or accountability, be sure to contact Jim Barger at ActionCOACH.com and smooth sailing from there. So, on with the program. It gives me great pleasure today to welcome into the studio Peg Zier and Julian Caldwell. Welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks. Hi, Paul.
Peg, welcome aboard, and great to have you all here. So we had to juggle a little bit to get some dates to work, but here we are, so that's all good. They are with the company called Wave Interactive. I blanked out for a minute there, but it's a great IT services and development firm they'll tell you a whole lot more about. I'm just going to jump right in. Peg, tell us, what business is Wave Interactive in?
Wave Interactive is a company that works in digital transformations. So we'll solve complex problems primarily focused around the web. But we have a heavy focus in engineering, but we also do quite a bit of creative.
Interesting. I like that. Say that first part again. Digital solutions, you said?
Digital transformations.
Transformation. Bigger than solutions,
yeah.
really. And
not just
solution.
No,
it's a transformation.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, what does a digital transformation mean? Julian, what does a digital transformation mean for your clients?
Great. So I think the primary thing is we kind of meet the client where they are. So sometimes it's moving from a technical solution, or moving from like an access database to a newer technology, which is some of our clients. And sometimes it's entirely around the brand. So what are you actually saying to your clients? And that's where the joining of what we do at Wave is exciting because it's kind of the arts and the engineering together. Well,
and that's what I've learned from talking with y'all is the idea of Peg, tell us about the combination of arts and engineering and what the two arms or legs of your company.
There's quite a bit on the engineering side in terms of integrations and problem solving in a very complex way. But what can happen is, for example, we'll add e-commerce to a brand. And so how does that experience show up? And how does that look? And how does that feel? And what are the behaviors of the buttons? And how do we get people to convert? How do we get people to become a customer and be motivated by what we've done? So that really brings the art and the engineering together.
Okay, and so in layman's terms, if someone doesn't do IT speak, Julian, it's more. You do the design, the look, and the feel. Right. That's what she just said.
Correct.
And the technical part. Tell us how deep you go on those.
So it could be as complicated as actually doing A/B testing, so alpha Bravo testing. Okay, so perfect. Testing one screen and another screen and seeing how the response is. And then sometimes it's color, sometimes it's the brand message, sometimes it's where the logo is placed.
Interesting.
But we test those kind of components to actually help you improve the conversion in that space. That's just one component of our organization.
Sure. When you talk about A/B testing, Peg, I think of agile methodology where you don't have a client come to you and say, I need this, and then you get back to them 6 months later with a finished product. How does all that A/B testing work?
We really work with clients iteratively. So I think our partner Skeet talks about it in terms of a party sub. You just bite off sections of the party sub. And so you try to get people where they want to go, but we want to make sure that we're informing that with data, and we're informing that with consumer behavior. So it's not just, oh, hey, we love this looks right. Now we do have enough experience that I think we can help make some decisions and get them farther along right from the get-go. But we really like to test and follow the analytics and the data to help us with some of those decisions.
Well, that's terrific. I think, did you have something to add to
that?
No. I'm learning more about all that, and just some of the books and podcasts I'm studying lately they talk about that. In the old days, people would say, I need this, and then you give them that, and then 6 months later or 2 years later, whatever, like, that's not what we want.
Right.
And in today's age, Julian, it's a little different than that, isn't it?
Yeah, so our delivery, I've been a part of large organizations and small organizations through my entire life, and what I love about Wave Interactive is that the way we deliver is ongoing and consistent. So literally we could be delivering changes every 3 to 4 days based upon little iterations as we've brought them into, as they've come into our requirements, if you are our backlog, product backlog, using your sprinting logic.
Yeah.
So that's been exciting because you're able to see actual real quick results. Not quick results, but over time, you're not going to wait for 3 months to see work. You're going to see work within a month.
Right.
We'll start with kind of some low-hanging fruit, and oftentimes that's site performance.
Okay.
So our server and hosting and network infrastructure and architecture allows that, mixed with on-site optimizations, allows for a site to perform much better right away. So oftentimes we'll do a lot of cleanup just to get kind of the infrastructure a little more solid. Then we'll start with, maybe redesigning certain areas of the site, rethinking the architecture to help with search engine optimization. It's any number of things, but we try to look at what's going to be the most effective, quickest, and then what's going to get you there over time.
Well, it sounds like you're very client-centered in today's fast-moving world. Tell me, Julian, where social media works into how that mixes in with all this.
Well, it depends upon the client, right? So some clients, we've had people come to us even in the last few weeks who want to engage in social media, but some of their customers aren't even on social media. So it's important for us to kind of balance what the right solution is for their problem. And that's one thing that's unique about us is our experience in particular allows us to bring what we've seen 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago to bear today and help them prevent making some mistakes, right? So we want to make sure that we at least give them the good answer, the right answer, versus just saying, well, let's just try some social media, and no one that you want to talk to is actually on the social media.
I do marketing coaching with very small clients, usually the solopreneur type of people or small, slightly larger, and so often they say, well, I advertised on Facebook and I didn't get any results. So what you said just struck a tone with me there on that one. That's well, Julian mentioned, Peg, about a historical view of things. Tell us about the history of when did Wave Interactive get started?
Wave was part of Wait Media, and then in 2005, as the company split into the different media areas, we took our company out and went off on our own, and so that was 2005. And so what was nice is from that point we had already had quite a bit of experience in integrated campaigns, so involving traditional and digital medias. And then we also had a lot of experience with internal software systems and things we created for the company to use to help run the business. So then, as we ventured off on our own, we just became that much stronger in helping companies bring this digital piece around.
I got you, and Wait was or is a national player at the time, and so there's a lot to learn there and so on. Remind me to ask you later about that moment when you decided to pack it up and go out on your own. Not right yet. I'm out of order here. Let's go back to the question of why are you people in this business? Why? I mean, it's not an easy space. Why are you in the business you're in?
I would say probably the biggest motivating factor is the ability to see so many things and to be creatively challenged and technically challenged on a daily basis. Every client, every industry, and we're in real estate, travel, education, really about every industry we touch.
Lots of verticals.
Entertainment, And so what's nice about that is we get the opportunity to learn from all of them. And with that, it just comes new challenges. And it's very exciting for me to wake up in the morning and say, okay, these are the creative challenges I have today. I get to dig deep and I get to learn about their business and learn about these people. And
that gets your blood running faster, huh?
Going,
and gets you going. I can tell you're passionate about that. That creative process and using that to benefit your clients. That's terrific. Julian, anything to add about why you're associated with this Wave Interactive company?
So I've been working with Wave for almost 2 years, and for me the excitement is just the quality of the work they do across so many domains. Like no one client is more than 15% of our revenue.
Interesting.
So we're very, very diverse in that in that way, and so it allows us to do some really great work. It allows us, we're able to jump into industries with some experience across all these other experiences, kind of echoing what
tremendous variety.
It is,
keeps
and we
you
know
engaged, right?
Yeah, what works with someone like Travelocity is impactful for a company that's a local company in town, right? So there's things across those we're able to share.
Interesting. Well, Sounds like a very stimulating workplace and
It is.
stimulating client base and all
Plus
that.
we're
kind of
there.
thing.
We're exciting. We're exciting. Look at us. We're just
Yeah, you're excited.
We're exciting
Everybody's
people.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people in the IT space are not that exciting.
Oh, come on.
But they know their stuff, and
They
we
do.
couldn't live without them.
Yeah.
You know, every time we touch a phone or our ATM or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, let's look at another big question here, and that is the question of. There's many, speaking of IT companies, there's many IT creative companies, development companies, integrators, cloud people, service providers. They're called about 50 different things, aren't they? There's a whole bunch of them out there. What makes Peg Wave Interactive different?
I would say the mixture of the art and the engineering, which has truly always been the case. And so being able to bring those two things together. And then really in the last few years, we've focused a little more on brand, just because sometimes we realize that that experience that people need to have with a brand starts way back here. What's the message? What's the logo mark? How does the experience on the website bring all of that through? So I think our breadth of experience with all these different industries and just hundreds of clients and hundreds of opportunities to learn. And in highly complex environments, 26 languages, servers all over the world, content sharing all over the world, integrating 17 different inventory systems, making sure that the CEO can see the dashboards that they want to see, making sure the analytics tell the story that needs to be told. So all of those things, I just think the breadth of experience probably.
Well, and that's terrific, because I hear you talk and I think about, if I'm a business owner of and I don't know what your typical you have clear up and down the range, a variety of, how big and how small are some of your clients?
So we'll take small projects. We do a lot of nonprofit work.
Okay.
So we do like Jennifer Hudson's charity in Chicago. We do some entertainment work, which I always love. Bare Naked Ladies. We do their branding for
Their tours
and stuff.
Okay.
But all the way up to the Travelocities of the world, which kind of a big deal in that space, big domain.
Well, it sounds like there's quite a range. And what I was going to say, I guess, is the idea that that differentiation. I lost my thought, but I guess the idea of what you're bringing out there is a one-stop shop type of thing, is in a lot of cases. I guess I did get my idea back. The one-stop shop. If I'm a small business owner and I have I don't want to build my own IT staff or my own graphics art staff or my own creative staff. I don't think, do I?
No, so we end up doing a lot of, we call it CIO as a service and CMO as a service. So if you think about medium.
Explain what those are.
Yeah, so like a medium-sized business, to hire a full-time marketing person takes a lot of energy, time. You might make the wrong decision. You just never know, right? Hiring is difficult. We know that.
People are,
So we end up partnering along with these businesses who may not have the skills that we have kind of in our pocket that we just do every day.
Right.
Same thing on the technical side, where we end up spending a lot of time working with their existing IT staff to help them understand different ways that our other clients are interacting with their customers. I think one thing that a differentiator is that we're not a lifestyle business.
Right.
And what's interesting not interesting is...
Well, explain what that is in case somebody doesn't know.
So lifestyle business is one, it's like, it allows me to get in at 10 o'clock in the morning and I can take the work I want to work and I don't want to do this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Take your kids to school, go to their plays.
I think we all love a lifestyle business, but our clients will call us at 3 o'clock in the morning because we host a lot of their infrastructure.
Right.
And that's on our infrastructure and our desire to be the one person, one team responsible for their entire technical footprint.
Well, that's terrific. I think you're talking about we're going all the way back to transformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a small businessman, a woman, or whatever, of 10 employees or whatever, and I'm getting to the point where I really need to hire somebody or on board or whatever. I mean, I have to go back and think about the phone and the lights. What does that mean, you say? Well, because I need the lights to come on when I turn the light switch doesn't mean I go start my own energy company.
That's right.
I don't build my own phone company. Right. Instead, I can hire y'all for what you do, right, Peg?
And oftentimes, we'll see clients, and they may have a full staff. They may have a full development staff and a full marketing staff, but they need somebody who can take a step outside, look from above, and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. And it can be a very abstract goal, But what's nice is we're able to, whiteboard and architect those
Yeah.
things and show them what options are available
Another
to them.
set of eyes.
What options are available to them, and how would that come to fruition? How could that
Right.
be completed?
Sure.
And that's another differentiator, I would say, is that the amount of things we're able to execute on, regardless of the complexity or the ask, we're
Okay.
able to execute on them.
Yeah, I mean, what percentage of your staff are engineers, IT, technical development people?
It's 80%, 75%?
80%. So you have a strong familiarity
Yeah.
with a strong resource there that you can help companies out with that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's some good differentiators there. It's a noisy world out there, and I think that's a good thing to think about. I just read the other day in a book about branding, and differentiating. And here's an exercise for you and for me. They talk about how not what you describe yourself as,
That's
but
right.
can a client or a prospect or even a stranger describe you? Here's the catch: 5 words. What do they say about you in 5 words? Oh, they're that X, Y, Z. And so we all have to think about that. It's like, 5 words. That's not much, but that's how people think, isn't it,
Yeah.
Julian? I mean, isn't that the whole market? You're no stranger to market. That's what you do with the company? You're in strategy.
Yep.
Tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the Vice President of Strategy, which means kind of we are looking at what the next 5 to 10 years looks like for the company. So technology is coming quickly. The way that we interact with our clients and our customers are interacting with their clients, big data, artificial intelligence, all of the keywords you hear, those are all becoming big components of developing a marketing brand, a marketing campaign, and we're really looking at how do we play the next 5 years just like we've been successfully playing for the last.
Well, I can see strategy would be pretty important.
It is.
And then especially, how have things changed from when you started, Peg, to now?
Oh my goodness. I think one of the reasons we separated is oftentimes the internet was like, oh yeah, we'll give you this sort of internet thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was really secondary to
internets.
everything. Yeah. And really now digital drives everything. But it's not just the internet. It's the software that runs it on the back end. It's how all of your companies locations interact with it, how your
Sure.
customers interact with it, how social media plays into it, how other types of CRM software play into it. So it's really sort of this complex digital framework that every company has,
Wow.
and that's kind of number one. The other medias really are to drive people to it. It's really a formula to drive people to it. And we see a lot more efficacy there because people are paying more attention to the return on that investment.
Yeah, well, and that's, who knows what it's going to look like in 5 years from now, right?
You'll be here at this chair doing these interviews. 5 years from now,
Because there's going to be a lot of change.
you'll be talking
Yeah.
about it.
A lot of change going on. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do an IT show only
Yeah,
or something
an
like
IT.
that. I don't know what we grow your IT department. And I don't want to. I just have plans for growmedia.com and its
Right.
growth and strategies. And I'm listening to both of you talk, and I say, I don't want to. It's a black hole. Julian has built a huge following in his past endeavors with social media. You can spend 24 hours a day on
You
that
can.
if you don't need any sleep.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. I want to find somebody like y'all to just come out there and take care of that and do that and run with that. And it's so complex anymore. Do you find that a lot of firms are coming to you for that? And
Just understanding the full landscape.
well, just to handle their digital transformation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And coming to us earlier, which is
Yeah.
great,
Ah,
because we're
that's
able
important.
we're
Yeah.
able to have a seat at the table in those discussions with all the stakeholders, and that helps them see what opportunities are available to them. And so I think in the past, maybe people would come when they're a little bit further down the road and said, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We can help them make that decision.
Early on, it's better not to have to go back and fix it, right?
Yeah.
Or waste money.
Well, that's true, yeah.
It's easy to
Oh.
say you and I can start a web company tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We could do that. But the challenging part is, do you invest dollars in something that's going to pay back? And because we've had this length of experience in this
Yeah.
space, many times we can say, I don't think that's where your market, we'll verify, let's do some market research and make sure that your market isn't on that site. But those are things we are able to do because of the experience, right?
Sure. Well, and tell us, Peg, how early. This show has people who are solopreneurs, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 employees, handful of folks.
Yep.
How early should they involve you in this conversation?
Gosh, anytime. We are always very happy to sit down with business owners and leadership teams and talk to them about what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you're trying to sell? Or what is it that the core of your business, and where do you see it going? Well, and then as we have all of that background, we're able to really help people over time.
Well, I just think that you've seen so many companies and helped so many firms over how many years? 14 years now or something? Yeah. That just that knowledge, again, that historical legacy view of things, that's like, Paul is in the same situation as Jane was 10 years ago. He needs this, and all of a sudden, during my first free consultation, you're telling me a whole direction where I need to go, right?
Right. Yeah. Or at least saying this is where we're going to test, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of work we do is how does your customer feel about you? What do they think about your brand? What do they think about your messaging?
In 5 words.
In 5 words, what's interesting, so I was reading a book last night that 70% of the buying decision is made before they actually make a call to you.
Yeah, well, so, with the internet,
right?
You know, yeah.
So our customers are smarter than they were 15 years ago because they've got so much more information. So it's important for us to have the right information.
Absolutely. Tell us briefly, Peg, about that creative side, that art side, that design side of the house. I mean, how important is that, and what do you do for companies?
Fairly complex in the sense that it can be brand all the way to conversion optimization, that kind of that A/B testing. So it can be very specific behavioral design tweaks to make a site work a certain way.
Right.
And then it can be really sort of far-reaching breadth-wise of photography, video, the voice of the customer, the voice of the company, so company personality, all of those pieces, which are a little more abstract, but once you really identify that for a customer or company, then it really can flow through everything we do. So we feel like obviously the website design and the user experience is really important if we're just focused on that. And even if it's back-end software systems, how is it going to be that your employees use this? And how is it going to be easy for them to use it? And make sure that it's the smartest way possible for them to use on all devices.
Right.
So there's that piece. But then there's the higher level piece of, when you do photography, what's the saturation of the color? When you do video, is it always documentary style? Or do you have abstract cinematography in there? Yeah. So we think about it pretty much all the way through.
Well, and the digital footprint is so all-encompassing, and it's everything. It's like you say, people mentally almost buy before they even reach out to you because of all that, and so it better be integrated, right? Yeah. Well, that's great. Hey, we're running out of time, so I got to ask you, tell us about that moment, Peg. You were there. I don't think Julian was there yet. When you left a major established company, you had worked for brand name companies in the past, and you said, I'm going to do this on my own. Tell us about that scary day, scary month, scary year that you thought about that.
We were lucky in the sense that we were able to physically stay in the same space, but just change to a rent situation. Okay. And we were able to continue our work that we had ramped up to do. So we had a little bit of a ramp, I'd say, that helped us. Yeah. But didn't take funding and didn't take out any loans. I mean, it was really like, hey, we're a service group.
Did you get to service some of your past clients? Okay, that's good.
So and some of the holding companies, we were able to work on them as well. So we had some established clients. We'd already been doing some outside.
Runway to start with, and that's great.
Yeah, but we've had, you have to kill to eat. So we had to just, we had to keep killing and keep eating.
Right.
So it was. It definitely was scary in those first few years, just figuring out processes and procedures in an industry that's ever changing.
Sure, sure. What advice do you have for the entrepreneur who's maybe has a day job presently and getting toward that point of cutting the cord, so to speak?
I'd say, well, the fact that they'd have a day job, I'd say that they're a step ahead of a lot. I'd say, keep working, keep learning.
Keep some form of income coming.
Keep redefining yourself, and just don't put yourself in a position, that's so scary. Right. Now, sometimes you got to take big risks, and you believe in something enough, and you're ready to go. But I think for us, just the ages and stages we were at, it was really about, let's just keep working, let's keep learning, let's keep innovating. Right. And with that, we were able to grow and grow every year.
Well, and was it scary?
Yeah.
What speed bumps have you heard about that they've had along the way, Julian?
I think the biggest one that we've actually trying to continue to avoid is growth. We could grow probably faster than we do, but we're very cognizant of making sure we're not growing too quickly.
Right.
Because as you grow you've seen it, you grow too fast,
that way, yeah.
Systems don't support the growth.
Right.
You have to hire quicker than you would normally want to hire. So really from a speed bump perspective, it's a self-imposed speed bump, but we continue to make sure that we are only growing at the time where we can bring on someone full-time that they can last and maintain that person. They've never furloughed one or let anyone go based upon volume of work. So it's a very cognizant decision.
Well, and you're in a good position that the pressures are to grow, but you strategically don't want to grow too fast, because I have seen that burn people before. So Peg, any last thoughts on the ideas of Wave Interactive and where are you going to go from here?
You know, let's just keep learning and growing and innovating.
Yeah.
I think
with your clients.
The types of things that we do are changing. It seems every 6 months, and that's great.
Constantly. Mm-hmm. Well, appreciate you coming out and on board. I'm going to turn to Julian for a last word about. I know you support the charity as well. Julian, tell us about the project you're involved with.
Great, thank you. So that's the kind of the reason we actually kind of started talking again. Yeah. So I'm running for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society Man of the Year, which is, in my opinion, a horrible title. It should be like, fundraising team of the year, but it is what it is. And there's 10 of us in the city from all walks of life. I'm trying to raise about $750,000 for research. And the interesting thing is a lot of the money gets to stay here in Nebraska and Iowa, and it's extremely exciting. For me, it's been eye-opening to see the impact that blood cancer has had. I lost my, sorry, I have my mic. I lost my brother-in-law to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma a few years ago. Wow. And just in my immediate circle, all of a sudden, people just come out of the woodwork to say, listen, I lost my aunt, my uncle, my stepfather.
Sure, yeah. So there's a lot of support for what you're doing.
And we're going to include a link on the...
we're going to have a button on the show, on the social media part of the show, not the TV part, but where people can donate to the organization and get you to that title of Man of the Year.
Yeah, we'll see. I just want to raise money. It's a great thing.
There you go. Peg, thanks for coming on board.
Thank you so much for
Julian,
having us.
good to see you again.
Good to see you, buddy.
Then that's the show for this week. And check out Wave Interactive, waveinteractive.com.
Yes, ma'am.
And they'll be on our credits as well. I'm Paul Madsen, founder of growmedia.com. Check us out for all the things going on with coaching and seminars and retreats coming up. And thank you. We'll see you next week. And before then, go out and grow something.